In this video, I'll talk you through an Indian action thriller from 2008 titled Gajini. The scene opens with a medical student, Sunita, looking up different files for her project. She comes across the case of Sanjay Singhania, who suffers from short-term memory loss. However, her teacher tells her not to select this case for the project as it's still under police investigation. Sunita agrees but says that she still wants to understand the case. So her teacher explains that someone hit Sanjay Singhania on the head with a metal rod, which caused him to remember things for only 15 minutes. After that, he forgets everything, except basic human functions which are stored in his subconscious brain. Now the scene changes to our protagonist, Sanjay Singhania, who's brutally beating a thug. He kills the thug on the spot and takes a picture to mark him dead. He checks his cell phone on him and finds the contact number of Gajini, which brings back fragments of the incident in which he lost his memory. Then he notes down the number and leaves the place. The dead body is soon discovered by a watchman who immediately informs the police. A senior officer named Arjun is assigned to the case. He finds a bus ticket on the crime scene and asks his men to follow the lead. Then, a criminal kingpin, Gajini Dharmatma, arrives there, and we learn that the man who died used to work for him, and someone is killing Gajani's men every week. On the other hand, Sanjay uses the photographs he keeps with him to get to his apartment. He gets inside and sees the only thing written all around: find and kill Gajini. He goes to the washroom and sees a note that says remove t-shirt. He takes off his t-shirt and sees many tattoos on his body. He realizes what happened to him and gets back his memory for some time. Sanjay uses a system of notes, photos, and tattoos to recover his memory from time to time, so he can get back to his mission of killing Gajini. Meanwhile, Arjun tracks down the bus ticket and takes the help of a bus conductor to recognize Sanjay. The conductor sees Sanjay on a bus, and Arjun starts running to get on the bus. But when he gets there, Sanjay has somehow escaped. Later, Sunita sees Sanjay on her campus and starts a conversation with him. She asks him questions about his condition and learns that he uses photographs to remember people. She tells him to click 2 photos of her and they'll keep one each so she can meet him again. Sanjay does so and names Sunita his friend. Then, Sanjay returns home, and Arjun finds his apartment with the help of some cab drivers. Arjun enters the apartment and hits Sanjay with a baseball bat. He ties him to the chair and starts searching his room. He finds a diary of the year 2005, and it turns out to be Sanjay's diary. He starts reading it, and we go into a flashback. It's 2005, and Sanjay is the CEO of a cell phone company named Air Voice. His goal is to make the company #1 in India, and he works hard towards achieving his goal. In a concurrent story, a young girl named Kalpana works at an advertisement company and performs in local advertisements. Now, Sanjay is with his team, selecting places for their brand's advertisements. He likes an apartment for their hoarding, and it turns out to be Kalpana's, so Sanjay immediately sends his men to talk to Kalpana. The men arrive at the advertising agency where Kalpana works and start talking to her about putting a hoarding in his apartment. But Kalpana's boss misunderstands their conversation and thinks that these men are here to tell Sanjay's love proposal to Kalpana. The boss overhears Kalpana rejecting their proposal, and the men leave. The boss suddenly starts treating Kalpana with respect, as her affair with Air Voice's company CEO can bring them great business. Kalpana realizes what is going on and decides to play along. This way, her boss gives her the lead role in a couple of advertisements, and she gives an interview to the reporter of a local magazine. She creates an entirely fake story of her relationship with Sanjay Singhania, and it gets publicized in the magazine. Sanjay's reputation starts to deteriorate due to this, so he immediately goes to meet Kalpana. On his way, he sees that some disabled girls are unable to enter a museum. Kalpana also happens to be there, and she helps the girls enter the museum by making them stand on the door and then swinging it across. Sanjay witnesses this and gets slightly attracted to Kalpana's kindness. Then, Sanjay reaches the advertisement company and he goes to talk to Kalpana. But as soon as he sees her, he goes blank. He gets attracted to her altruistic nature and lies that he's Sachin, an upcoming model, and he wants her to help get a role. Kalpana takes his number and says she'll call when there's a role for him. Soon, Sanjay receives a call from her as she needs a male model for an advertisement for underwear. He meets Kalpana and again gets impressed by her as she helps a blind man get to his destination. Over the next few months, Sanjay falls madly in love with her and somehow manages his professional life while also spending time with Kalpana. After some time, Kalpana's boss tells her that he's organizing a New Year's party and Sanjay has to be there. He's already sent invitation cards with Sanjay being the main attraction of the party. However, Kalpana learns that not many people have seen Sanjay Singhania as he recently returned from America, so she decides to pose one of her friends as Sanjay. But her plan doesn't work, and she confesses to Sachin that she doesn't even know Sanjay Singhania. But she sees that Sachin looks exceptionally good in a suit, so she requests him to come with her as Sanjay. He too plays along and agrees. On the 31st of December, Sanjay arrives at the party and everyone starts greeting him. Kalpana is surprised to see how easily everyone is falling for their actions and everything goes well. After the party, Sanjay and Kalpana are returning home on a bus and Sanjay confesses that he loves her. Kalpana says she needs more time to think and she'll tell him tomorrow. Sanjay decides that if she accepts his proposal while he's an ordinary guy Sachin, he'll confess to her that he is Sanjay Singhania, but if she rejects him, he'll quietly leave her life as Sachin. Now we get back to the present time, where Arjun has read the entire diary of 2005. He starts looking for the diary of 2006 and finds it. But suddenly, Sanjay wakes up and attacks him. Sanjay wins the fight and knocks him out. He gets back on his mission of killing Gajini and finds him at a cultural event at Sunita's college. There, he gets to see Gajini for the first time and takes photos for his future self. Then, he baits one of Gajini's men to come into the basement and kills him. Gajini arrives there with his men, but it's too late and the man dies. Later, Sunita wants to talk to Sanjay, so she goes to his apartment. She's shocked to see Gajini written all around and realizes that Sanjay has killed a lot of men. She accidentally opens the cupboard and a tied Arjun falls down. Arjun tells her that he's a police officer, so she frees him. He immediately goes to drink some water and then asks Sunita to leave immediately. Before they could leave, Sanjay, who has no recollection of them, comes there. He asks what are they doing here, and Arjun runs out of the apartment from the back door. Sanjay starts chasing him, but Arjun gets hit by a truck and dies on the spot. Then, Sunita goes to meet Gajini at his home and warns him that there's a guy called Sanjay who wants to kill him. Sunita doesn't know that Gajini is a criminal due to his fake public image. With that, Gajini immediately leaves to kill Sanjay outside his apartment. But Sanjay is already at Gajini's home and nobody is there. Meanwhile, Sunita realizes that Sanjay still has her photo, so she calls Gajini to recover it for her. But Sanjay picks up the call and pretends to be Gajini. He learns that Sunita revealed his identity and plan to Gajini, so he immediately goes to kill her. He tries to choke her through the window, but she manages to get free. Then, Sunita cleverly traps him in a lift by cutting the power supply and calls for help. The police arrive at the scene and arrest Sanjay. Now, Sunita takes out the 2 diaries she recovered from Sanjay's house earlier and starts reading them. She goes through the events of 2005 and opens the diary of 2006. There, Kalpana accepts Sanjay's proposal and decides to marry him. Before he could reveal his true identity, she starts talking too much, so he drops the idea. Sanjay tells his assistant that he likes meeting Kalpana as Sachin, so he dropped the idea of revealing his true identity. Then, he gives his assistant keys to an apartment and tells him to give it to Kalpana anonymously. Meanwhile, Kalpana purchases one of her dream cars that reminds her of her father. She goes on a drive with Sanjay, and the couple enjoys it a lot. Later, Kalpana calls Sanjay and tells him that she's won an apartment in a lucky contest by Air Voice. He goes to meet her and tells her that he's going out of town for 10 days. He lies that his mother is ill in the village, so he needs to sell his land for treatment. Then, in the middle of the night, Kalpana calls Sanjay and asks him to meet her. Sanjay immediately goes and she hands him a bundle of cash. She reveals that she sold her dream car so Sachin can pay for his mother's treatment. This fills Sanjay with joy and tears, and he's really happy that he'd found such a genuine girl. He then reluctantly goes to London for a business trip. Now, we get back to the present time, where the rest of the diary is blank. So Sunita and her friend talk to Kalpana's boss to know the rest of the story. Meanwhile, Sanjay's assistant frees him from police custody as he didn't commit any crime in the girls' hostel. But Gajini soon finds him alone at his apartment and decides to take his revenge. Instead of killing him, he destroys all the tattoos on his body and removes all the things related to him from his apartment. Now, Sanjay is a blank sheet of paper, and he has no recollection of his memories of Gajini. On the other hand, Sunita finds an article on Kalpana in an old newspaper, which says she saved 25 girls from being abducted. So she goes to meet one of the girls rescued by Kalpana and hears about the incident. In 2006, after Sanjay left for London, Kalpana was traveling on a local train and found a little girl crying under a seat. She comforts the girl and asks what happened. The girl reveals that she and 24 other girls were sold for prostitution, but she ran out of the bogie and climbed on this one, and at the next stop, the thugs will come looking for her. At the next stop, the thugs come and corner Kalpana. She pulls the door to the next carriage and luckily it's filled with soldiers. She explains the situation to the soldiers and they beat the thugs in no time. This way, Kalpana saves all the 25 girls. But when she's alone in the hospital, she's approached by Gajini Dharmatma, who is behind all of this. Gajini scares her away and Kalpana returns to her apartment. Suddenly, she gets a call from a woman who tells her that thugs are hiding in her apartment, waiting to kill her. She gets super scared, but manages to hide behind a cupboard. At the same time, Sanjay returned early from his business trip as he wanted to surprise Kalpana and reveal his true identity. But nobody opens the door, so he starts to leave. Kalpana calls on his cell phone and tells him that her life is in danger, but the thugs find her and the call ends. Sanjay immediately runs back to the apartment. When he reaches there, he sees Kalpana coming toward him, but she's stabbed in the back. Kalpana whispers Gajini in his ears, and Gajini himself hits Sanjay with a metal rod. Then he kills Kalpana in front of him by hitting her head with the metal rod. Now we get back to the present time, where Sunita and her friend have heard the entire story from a police officer. She realizes that Gajini is the actual villain and goes to meet Sanjay in the hospital. Sunita shows him both the diaries and tells him the entire story. Sanjay is filled with rage after hearing the story and gets back on his mission of killing Gajini. He immediately goes to Gajini's den and directly enters it. Sanjay is stopped by some men, but he knocks out all of them in an instant. He moves ahead and beats tens of men in the process. He finally finds Gajini and starts beating him. Gajini tried to fight back, but he can do nothing against Sanjay and starts running. Sanjay runs behind him and beats many men on his way. He catches up to Gajini, but suddenly loses his memory in the critical moment. Gajini realizes this and plays innocent so he can stab Sanjay with a metal rod. Sunita comes there to save Sanjay, but Gajini knocks her out. Then, he picks up a similar metal rod and goes to kill Sunita exactly like he killed Kalpana. This brings back Sanjay's memories, and he stands up and takes out the metal rod from his stomach. He throws it towards Gajini and starts beating him brutally. Then, Sanjay kills Gajini exactly like the way he killed Kalpana, and the scene ends there. At the end of the movie, Sanjay is in an orphanage named after Kalpana, where he enjoys his life with the kids. Thanks for watching. If you fancy more high-quality recaps, check out this video next.